Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast Network. This is We Are Air, Season 2, Episode 14, Spider-Man Far From Home. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, thank you so much. Please go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. We're at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at /We Are Podcast. With that said, on to the podcast. Hey everybody, it's Duck. Hey, just ahead of time, I want to let you know I screwed up while recording this. So during this podcast, I'm going to sound like I'm very much in the distance. If this is your first time listening, usually it sounds a lot better than this, so please stay tuned. But everyone else in the podcast sounds amazing. And thankfully, I shut the fuck up most of the time. So enjoy listening.
We are Error.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the We Are Air podcast. This is Duck. I'm here with
Jake
and
Javi.
And we have two, count them, very special guests tonight.
Yeah.
We have the amazing
McClintock
and the spectacular
Ethan Eastwood.
because we went to see Spider-Man Far From Home. And
Oh my God!
we're going to skip all the moving news. And we're going to talk to our guests real quick. Now, we've talked about our love of Spider-Man in the past. We've seen both Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Venom. Venom. But, how about you guys? Jay, what is your favorite Spider-Man franchise? What is your favorite version of Spider-Man? All those things.
I'll tell you what, Knee Jerk would be to say tonight is the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. As a package deal, I'm probably still a Tobey Maguire guy, for at least the first two. Third one I just pretend doesn't exist. But,
the Raimi-verse.
The Raimi verse. And aside from the fact that, Raimi made like my favorite movie of all time. But on top of that, he gave us the first real Marvel superhero experience, I'd say. I know Blade came out in 98, but
X-Men also.
Yeah, but I mean I'll stand by what I said.
Yeah.
What movie is your favorite movie of all time that he did?
Evil Dead 2, of course.
So good.
Speaking of Evil Dead 2, somebody just recently graduated to the Evil Deadiverse.
Oh my God.
Congrats, bro.
Ethan here.
God, I watched all three of those movies pretty much back to back to back, and they were fucking phenomenal.
I like Army of Darkness.
I do too, man.
Yeah.
I think the progression is what's so nice.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about the Evil Dead at some point. But, go ahead, Ethan.
Did you ever find that cut from the first movie to the second one to Army of Darkness?
No, I never.
Oh,
it's out there somewhere.
I bet you that flows so nicely too, because you can see Ash just fucking amazing.
So Spider-Man for you, you're a little bit younger than the rest of us. What is your version of Spider-Man?
I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the whole Raimi Spider-Verse there, so I was really attached to that, and I liked Andrew Garfield. He was okay, but Tom Holland was awesome as well. I'm kind of with Jay on this one. That was a fucking amazing movie, and that topped Spider-Man 1 and 2 from the Raimi-verse. So good.
Well, absolutely. So we're just going to say right off the bat, spoilers. So, round table, start with Javi. What do you think of this movie?
Fucking great. At first, when he finally did his first heel turn, I turned to this kind of fucking lame, isn't
Talking
it?
about Mysterio, folks.
It was like...
Yeah,
but then when he got serious, and he started fucking with Spider-Man in that awesome sequence, I was like, okay, this is fucking awesome.
And what you're saying, too, and I like that, this is a setup, and even I was feeling this, I don't know about you guys, I'm fine with the fun, lighthearted atmosphere of this movie, especially after the intensity that was Infinity War into Endgame.
Right.
And so this movie
It was a palate cleanser.
Yeah, absolutely. It is to be lighthearted, and there's undertones. But I'm sitting there thinking, man, some of this is happening rather quickly.
Yeah.
There's scenes that are just the humor wasn't popping for me.
The fact that the first three elementals were already taken out, and they're already facing the big bad of the elementals, is okay, this is kind of weird. How are they going to
change this there was no anticipation for the elementals either. I felt kind of vapid.
But it was the bombacity of Quentin Beck to be in the bar cheering them on, and you!
Yeah.
And it's almost turns to me and he's what the fuck is this? But then it fits with the character because he is a director, he's an actor.
That is Mysterio.
He's over the top. And that's what brought it back. But there was a moment where we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was this kind of really took me out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, what'd you think of the movie?
Loved it. Yeah, by far the strongest of all of the Spider-Man, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is a great iteration. And like you said, Javi turned to me whenever he acquires the Edith glasses, and he goes into this fucking monologuing rant,
You caught me monologuing!
I punched through Javi to get to he's monologuing! He's monologuing!
You sly dog!
It felt that way. And how appropriate. The guy who did the soundtrack is Michael Ciambino, who did the soundtrack for The Incredibles.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
That's fucking crazy.
I like the actual Mysterio suit is the same fucking suits that they wear on the sets whenever they're filming these fucking movies.
Absolutely.
So like it's so perfect the way that they portrayed him in a modern setting. The fucking suit looked badass as it was anyways, but then it's just like, oh, okay, this guy's just a fucking
and
the
like
irony, Ethan said, a technomancer.
Yeah, it kind of came across as a
Doctor Strange kind of.
Yeah.
And the irony of that suit being CGI, but the actual suit he was wearing being practical.
Yeah.
And then saying it is CGI. There was a lot of subtle stuff in there, I think. Subtle. I apologize.
Subtle?
The subtle stuff was the lady getting fingered.
I thought Maria
that
Ross
wasn't
kind
very
of
subtle
like
either from
slightly
what I heard.
emancipated, too.
I apologize. I speak wrong. Jay, what do you think of this movie?
No, I loved it. I thought it really knocked it out of the park. I mean, I'll be the first to say that I was not the biggest fan of Homecoming. It left a lot for me to be. It really did. I found myself identifying way more with Vulture. Just this whole mindset of like, I don't want to control the world. I just want a piece. I'm like, you know what? I can get behind that logic. Yeah. But I really think that this movie, not so much apologized for that, but I think it kind of showed a much more mature Spider-Man. I really think just showed him growing up a little bit. He really dealt with he was a little more down to earth, I thought. And I think obviously dealing with Endgame and losing his mentor, I think it really grounded him. And I think he shoved that into his character in this one. And so he had a lot more to go to. Like, he was trying to run away from being a hero pretty much the first half of this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, he addressed it because he's like, look, I don't want to have to save the world again. I just want to hang out with my friends on fucking summer vacation.
Right, and one of the smartest things this movie did, and also Marvel did with Spider-Man, Spider-Man always has a mentor character that ends up being a villain. Tony Stark was not a villain, but he was looking at the same thing again. He was looking for a mentor. He was looking for a replacement. So much to the fact that when he put on the glasses, it was not incidental that Mysterio kind of looked like
resembled,
Stark.
Yeah.
And he put it two together. That was a lot of imagery that you just like, I see what's going on. But on top of that, there were subtle is that right?
It's subtle.
Subtle. I got it right. Subtle.
Don't think about the
how it's spelled, man.
Subtle, Duck.
Are you from Phoenix?
There were clues that he would take over the mantle. He would say things like Tony Stark would say them. Spider-Man. He would make little gestures that literally replicated things Tony Stark had done in the past. This movie is the perfect bookend, because in a lot of ways, it is the Iron Man trilogy wrapped up again in a single movie. And it was very interesting to watch that happen.
Well, the way that he bought his trust also from Peter in it, because whenever they're doing the addressing of the final elemental, Peter calls him Beck, and he goes, Mysterio. But earlier, he's like, oh, my friends call you Mysterio.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, call him Mysterio. Yeah.
The way he did that. Ethan, what did you think of this movie?
It was amazing. Like everyone else here has already said, it was just fantastic. And I'm with Jay. I think it was better than Homecoming. But what really got me was the villain in this movie specifically. Mysterio was just easy to kind of latch on to and go, okay, I understand what you're getting at and all that. And I really liked how they made all those callbacks to the previous Iron Man movies. They brought back these side characters who you never ever would have paid attention to. That scene at the bar where they're going, and you did this, and you were in this scene in Iron Man 1, and you were in this scene in Iron Man 2. I was like, I want to go back and see if they were actually there.
Yeah, I definitely want to see if Peter Billingsley, spoiler alert, Peter Billingsley totally makes an awesome sidekick to the villain in this movie.
And he might become the next Mysterio.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know who Peter Billingsley is, right, Doug?
No, that was the guy who...
That was the guy... You remember A Christmas Story?
That's Ralphie, bro.
That's Ralphie, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The sidekick
Ralphie's
was
about
Ralphie.
to become a bad bitch.
I'm down with
Maybe.
that. I can do that.
Which makes sense, because he's real tight with Vince Vaughn. I think he was a producer on the
correct.
Wild West Comedy Tour.
Yeah,
He also directed Favreau. He directed Couples Retreat. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
He was also an Elf, directed by Favreau.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he's definitely in that... He's definitely in that group.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all
I
pals.
was thinking whenever he pulled out the USB at the end to take it to modify, which we'll talk about later, when he took it to modify the video, I was like, well, that's interesting. Who is this character? And I was like, is this... Like, we already had the Tinkerer, but I know there's another character that's kind of like that in the Marvel Universe. but I couldn't in the back of my mind put it together.
There's a guy kind of like, you know who he kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of Arcade a little bit. Like if Mysterio's all about these contraptions, I could totally see this guy being like kind of in that wheelhouse, but kind of not.
Yeah.
And my only exposure to Arcade was Spider-Man and X-Men, the game Arcade Revenge on SNES.
Yeah. So who is Arcade?
Arcade is an illusion. It's kind of like Mysterio was, where he used the illusions and put them in a game.
But he pretty much only he uses a lot of, well, at least in the game, toys. It's all about toys.
Javi, you brought up a good point about not liking Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie.
What?
And
no, I thought he was great. He was good at, but I really detested.
He hated him. He goes, "This is the first."
Mysterio's like he was so good at portraying Mysterio that my hatred spilled over to the actual actor. I was like, this fucking dick.
Oh, so you actually like Jake Gyllenhaal then?
I really did. Like, he was great as Mysterio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you hate somebody that much, their character that much, that means that they're a great fucking actor.
I thought what he did so well was play it very small in the beginning, and at first I'm like, boy, he's a real non-character. And then that scene in the bar happens where everyone disintegrates because they're holograms, and he does the big bombastic thing where I'm like, where the fuck is this going?
It's like Tesla.
And then I was like, after that, at first I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then they show the scene after where he's directing the holograms, and I was like, he's an actor.
Yep.
He's a director. He's a producer. That's exactly how bombastic he would be, and opinionated, and full of himself at the same time, to the point where he's like, I'll kill you motherfuckers.
Right.
I was like, that's a genius. And after that, I was like, I'm on board. And on top of that, my favorite scene in the movie was the illusion scene.
The very first time that he gets Spider-Man is amazing.
I've always wanted to see that on screen. I've always wanted to see him.
Like, I was telling Jake and Chuck, like, if you ever read Old Man Logan, you know that Mysterio is the one that is a cast that sets off Wolverine to go kill the X-Men and almost a lot of mutants. And that scene, you actually said,
very
believable. See how he could do that.
Yeah, you can see exactly how he could pull that off. Not only that, just the nightmare aspect of that. Tony Stark,
the zombie Iron Man.
That was fun.
Are you kidding me? I was like, this is
bro.
insane. And doing the classic Hall of Mirrors with the shards and stuff like that.
And him saying, you probably could have saved Tony Stark and all this shit. Oh, God. Yeah, they're just preying on his emotions.
Did you feel how silent it got in
the theater everybody's like,
scene? It was kind of like, whoa, you crossed the line there.
Yeah, took the breath out of the room.
On a side note, honestly, when I was watching that scene, what was really replaying in my head is I would love to see a Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy got that creative.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Absolutely.
That would be badass.
That's nightmare fuel. I literally felt in my soul, I was like, this is a comic book come to life.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, I was like, I'm going to have a fucking panic attack right now.
And also how they threaded things through. The scene where he almost took out Brad on the bus, and I was like, this is kind of weird. This is a weird excursion. Little did I know it was setting up the entire second half of the fucking movie.
Right.
Yep.
But at first it was like, man, there's no way that's going to play into anything. It was so fucking important. And that's what worked with this movie. There was a lot of humor that I thought fell flat at the beginning, but it was kind of that throw everything at the wall and see what sticks kind of humor. So I was like, all right, I can deal with this. And it also did help with the lighthearted tone of the movie, I felt.
Made it feel cheesy.
How about Tom Holland, Spider-Man? Is he the best
He's Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man.
To me, he's Spider-Man.
Oh, Ethan's...
I still can't get Toby out of my head, man.
Just think about Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, but Toby was
Venom
like fucking
Spider-Man
40
3.
whenever he was filming the Spider-Man movies.
You gotta remember, I was like 7 when those movies came out, or however old.
So 50
you know, this is a super unpopular opinion, but little kid Ethan thought Spider-Man 3 was the shit. I thought Venom was awesome. I saw Spider-Man fighting Sandman.
Whenever I was a kid, I thought Batman
Batman
and Robin were the shit.
So is Eric Foreman your forever Venom then?
No. What? Fuck no.
He's got a tattoo on his arm. Eric Foreman, my forever.
God,
I missed you, Donna.
What's the name of the guy that played him in the new Venom movie?
Oh,
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy was fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, he was great as Eddie Brock.
I loved that whole role, that whole movie. For what it was. I just kind of wish they would have actually
been better with it.
Connected.
First act fell flat. Last two acts finished strong.
I just like the Mr. Garrison carnage at the end of the movie. He's like, step into the light, Mr. Brock. I can hardly see you.
Carnage.
How about the fact that they talked about in Spider-Man Homecoming, they fucked with the audience perception of what was going on, with the twist, if you will, about the Vulture's daughter. They did the same thing here, where they fucked with people with the marketing and said multiverse.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it for a minute.
I was ready for that.
They're expecting it because what movie just came out?
Spider-Man the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, thank you. So they're fucking with people and saying that's what's going to happen. You didn't believe it for a second.
No. I also thought Mysterio was going to be the villain.
Yeah, it's Mysterio. I mean, like, it's the biggest setup ever. First of all, let's just play it all out. you've got these 4 elementals that are world enders. Can't find a fucking Avenger anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere.
And how did they get the Avengers? They tried to explain that.
Off-world. He's on break.
Well, at the end of
We can't afford him
we don't
anymore.
mention her name.
Yeah,
Did they
Doctor
really-
Strange was busy.
So he legitimately left Spider-Man with the keys to the house or the car or whatever.
Pretty
Home
much.
Alone.
Yeah, it's Home Alone on a galactic level.
Well, maybe there was something worse going on. I
Yeah,
mean,
that we
the
don't know
second
about, yeah.
end scene, Nick Fury's in like this weird space station looking thing. It
I like
almost looked
fake.
like a.
Fake.
It's fake. It's all fake.
Yeah.
He's literally in some basement
like,
in Nevada.
At first, when the class started, I was like, "Is he in the fucking danger room?"
He's floating around in a giant fucking space station.
Well, let's talk about
What
this.
if they're setting up the Eternals?
That was my theory. I had said I felt like the machine that Tony Stark made would play into this movie. You guys remember me telling you
Barf.
that? I said I felt like that was going to be the danger room for some reason. I felt like this whole thing was going to be an illusion.
Right.
I meant everything. I thought maybe Peter Parker was in a danger room situation. So I was kind of happy to see that turn around, that technology was being used against him. So I did call it that would happen. I thought it was going to be on a bigger scale, but that didn't happen. But when I was watching the movie, I was like, called it. I can write this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. I
Well, it's
was
just like whenever we're watching it, he said it to be a good guy, and we knew off the
We-
bat that these were all projections of
they
Mysterio.
really didn't. I didn't buy it when he was being a good guy. I was just like, this is so.
I mean, I went in knowing that he was probably going to be the main
Oh,
villain
yeah.
of the movie, but still, they did a good job at making him a believable good guy.
Yeah, but he's so iconic. Mysterio is like, if you think of the Sinister Six, like Mysterio's right there. What do you got? You got Green Goblin. You got Mysterio, Scorpion, Lizard, Doc Ock.
Right.
I mean, like
Vulture.
Yeah,
You already
Vulture.
said
You've
that.
got and they kind of switch out, but Mysterio's always in the mix.
Yeah.
Always in the mix.
The best version of Mysterio we will ever. I mean, like we could have got.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he knocked it out of the park
Yeah.
for sure.
Character design was fucking great.
I,
also.
put it this way, he
Holy
did for
shit.
Mysterio kind of what Tony Stark did for Iron Man. Iron Man was a D-lister.
Yeah. Nobody
Yeah.
gave a shit about these characters.
Nobody.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the entire fucking Avengers crew right there.
Yeah, the whole MCU really.
Yeah.
I mean, except ironically for Spider-Man, who's always been an A-lister. He's
Yeah.
like he's the king.
He's
To
fucking
me,
Spider-Man.
yeah. Let's talk about that.
He's to
Where do
Marvel
y'all place
was-
Spider-Man on the all-time list?
Among all the other heroes.
All heroes, all universes, all companies. Where do you put him?
Definitely top 3 for me.
Is he my favorite?
I just whatever ranking, whatever. Well, you know.
Mine were always Wolverine, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would say. I think everyone loves Spider-Man. There's always been. I mean, they were trying to make a Spider-Man film for 20 years. You know, James Cameron was involved in the process at one point.
Michael Jackson was.
Was Michael Jackson involved with Spider-Man?
Yeah, he tried buying the rights so he could play him in a fucking movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man was never going to leave
He
Neverland.
also wanted to be Jar Jar Binks. And y'all know this, right?
No.
Yeah.
Canon Films wanted to make a Spider-Man movie with Michael Dudikoff from American Ninja.
Yeah.
What?
For real. Absolutely.
Oh, and
Yep.
also, we must mention the best Spider-Man film that me and Jacob did, Italian Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
And
What
if
the
you-
so
fuck?
good.
Is that the one who can fly?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Gotta
sure
love
he
it.
can do anything he needs
It's hilarious.
to do. If you've never seen Italian Spider-Man, please go at least watch the trailer. There is a 40-minute movie. I'm sure it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Is
it's
it
fucking
anything like
hilarious.
Ninja Batman or whatever that one?
No.
No,
This
it's-
is more like on the level of like Kung Fury.
Yeah.
No, they actually that movie
Kung Fury
that movie
meets
took itself
Spider-Man.
seriously. The one you're talking about, that Batman movie.
Hey everyone, it's just Doc jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And if you're enjoying the podcast today, please share with your friends. It's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, back to the podcast. Well, let's talk about Spider-Man, though. Did the character have the right character arc for this movie? Where he's in sorrow, he's mourning, he's burnt out.
Yeah.
He needs a break. He really does. To buy the love, like, he was really into Mary Jane. Did you think that was a real thing? Did you guys see that coming? Or?
Yeah.
think
I
they
really
hit
thought
every
that she
beat-
was into him. Like, she
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
killed it as MJ in this one.
She's so awkward, but I mean that in the most positive way.
Yeah, it's super fucking endearing.
She was into him in the first one, though. Like, she knew everything that was going on. And then they even stop and look at her. She's like, what? I'm not into him or anything.
Yeah.
But even though she knows exactly what his itinerary is, like, oh, no, he's
She
in
was
science
leaking.
class at this
But look
point.
at look at those kisses. Look at those kisses they had. Those 3 kisses.
That was
How
good.
many of us can relate to those awkward ass first
Yeah.
kisses with a girl
Yep.
you really like?
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you're always second guessing yourself.
Like,
What are you
did that
guys
just happen?
talking about? I
We
was
get
the
it.
man.
We get it.
I was
Jack
the
was fucking
man.
great.
First time I kissed a girl, my thought was her tongue's in my mouth. I like it.
What is this? This isn't how my mom gives me a kiss.
But no, that was great that they did that. That they had that awkwardness of it, and then also getting Ned and Betty together. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Great.
Because I actually thought Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man did the before this. I thought they had the best awkwardness. Him and Gwen Stacy when they
That's some
first
good
got
Fuck
together.
you.
No, they were,
Love it.
that
God
was
damn, dude. They just fucking,
No,
they
were
talked
maggots.
about
I loved
nothing. They just gave fucking, like, model faces to each other the whole time.
'Cause they were
while
dating?
fucking talking.
Yeah.
No, they weren't even dating yet at that point. It's just trying to be sexy.
Yeah, look at my.
I don't know, man. We got Gwen Stacy. I was happy with it. I was real happy with Gwen Stacy in that one.
Stone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she
All right,
she
Conan.
killed it.
What about the opening of the movie? The
The,
memoriam that they do for the
oh,
fucking...
hilarious!
Yeah,
I could've stopped
Heroes
laughing.
That
with
was really
Whitney
cool.
He
Houston,
comes
yeah.
on, dude, and she's like, and then it does the shitty, like everyone's made it with Windows movies.
And by the way, I like
Them-
that it proved our theory that
them
when you
addressing
fucking
the
got
blip.
blipped,
Yep.
that's where you
Where they
come
pop
back.
back in.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it also
Oh my
proves
god,
that
with
if
the
you,
band.
If
Oh
Yes.
you disappeared in the sky in an airplane,
You come back in the sky and then you fall to
Oh,
your death.
So,
Shit.
yeah,
if
there's
you're
so
in the
many
middle
people
of the
that
ocean
died
on a cruise,
coming
all
back from the
the
blip.
ship's not going to be cruising back by shark bait, right?
Yeah.
Hoo ha ha.
Yes.
That is interesting.
That's what,
So,
but that's
yeah,
So that
even
means like this poor. I guarantee you, there's like some guy just like blip back jerking off.
Aunt May talking about her blipping back into the apartment. Somebody has already moved in. They thought that she was a ghost.
or
They
a
fucking
mistress.
yeah,
which
mistress,
I was
everything
like,
else.
yeah.
But-
yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
I totally fucked it.
But they totally skim over the fact that a fucking million more people died whenever they were blipped back in.
Oh my
you're
God.
walking- You're walking across the street, crosswalk.
Yeah.
And then
All of
it
a sudden,
starts
the
raining men.
Bus hits you.
I'm
Fucking.
saying exactly, the lights.
You're on a train and you end up in the middle of a train tracks.
electrocuted.
Like, yeah.
Like, so that proves our theory that
Yeah.
you take out 1/3 of the world's population just by the fact that
Half.
they flip back in.
Half. They lost a third after the half.
Just saying, dude. That doesn't. Do you guys see what we're saying? Does
Yeah,
that-
I get
it
it.
makes
I get it.
So Tony
Makes
didn't realize
total
where
sense.
they'd be coming back, I guess.
Well, it was Hulk. Hulk who snapped them all back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
You're
right.
You're right.
Well, that's
Tony
what I'm saying.
sapped the
Thanos people
way.
away.
But are they going to deal with that in the future? Where
I think they're just
I don't
gonna
think
wash
so.
over
I
it.
think it's going to skim over it. That's too
Yeah,
dark.
for sure.
Too dark.
all right.
They would have lost so. There's probably more casualties, like people getting like rained on by people that
On
were
the
in planes.
darkness of the movie, though, that is something that really bugged me.
What's
The
that?
blip?
Is I don't think through the whole movie Peter Parker really grieved enough for Tony. They didn't show that sadness enough for me.
He didn't have enough time. I don't think.
I
They
get what
they
you're
kind
saying.
of like you could see it a little bit, like this is kind of bugging me, but
So theoretically, this takes place just, I mean, like a week after fucking Endgame, pretty much.
Yeah, literally. I think it is literally like 2 months or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, that's not enough time.
No.
That's not enough time at all.
So, you know, a lot of times grieving takes a while to set in. Like, people don't realize whenever somebody loses somebody, it takes, like, something to trigger something.
Especially with the reminders everywhere, he was still very much alive.
Yeah.
within the universe.
There was
But-
murals and shrines to him everywhere that he went. Every fucking place overseas, there were fucking pictures
Yeah, but
of
let's be
him.
real. Tony Stark's going to be the first one to call him a little bitch for mourning in the first place. And I think that's kind of what he did in a 2-hour setting. He's
Oh,
like,
please, dude. Come on. He went to fucking battle with one of his best friends because he was mourning his fucking parents dying
but that's
at the
the
hands of
same thing he
Bucky.
does. Because the same thing he did in Iron Man 3. Because we had a moment. That's just the way he is. He doesn't handle grieving well.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want other people to handle grieving well. He's just projecting that same
Right.
kind of
I can see
thing
that.
onto Peter.
And the great thing that
Because he reminds him of himself.
Right.
Happy says, he goes, he was my best friend, and he was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the scene whenever you see him in the plane, open up that little electronic whatever it is, and put his hand within the hologram, and
he's-
you see it. And once again, I said, there were moments throughout the entire movie where he was emulating Tony Stark in a lot
Right.
of ways.
Yeah,
in his movements.
for
I remember
sure.
at one point he put on the glasses, but he looked right to left before he put them on, and I was like, Tony Stark has done that.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. did that in an earlier movie, and I was like, that's so weird that he did that, but it's reflected because of the way he put on the glasses.
Right.
There were multiple scenes, so when he's standing there holding it the exact same way, he goes, I'll hit the music. And he puts on some AC/DC, and he goes, I love Led Zeppelin. And I'm like, that's
So
what I'm
good.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
We see Spider-Man being the future of the MCU. Do you see that? Because, like I said, this movie in a lot of ways was a bookend to the MCU. It reflected the original Iron Man trilogy in a lot of ways in different scenes.
As great as I think Spider-Man would be when it comes to like team movies, like that guy does really almost all of his best work alone, for sure.
Yeah.
He's been a solo dude for
yeah.
so long.
His rogues gallery alone.
He's good. He's a good supporting player, but man, he just shines when
whatever
it's
he's
him.
by himself.
Because that's the thing is like imagine this. There is a entire villain team called the Sinister Six. The Six.
Devoted to taking this one.
Devoted to you. It's kind of like the Flash. The Flash has the rogues gallery. Like Batman has a lot of cool like bad guys. They don't team up and they go like we're the Batman Brigade.
They do
Like
Batman 66 though.
What's that?
Yeah.
Batman 66.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they have a world famous villain team. They were going to get their own movie, dude, and their whole world is let's fucking kill Spider-Man.
Which one? I've always said Batman's Rogues Gallery is comparable to Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. They are just as strong. I don't feel like one is stronger than the other.
I think you could find a counterbalance for everyone. I think Joker is the Green Goblin for sure.
Yeah.
I think the Joker is better in that scenario.
I do too.
But I also think Dr.
My
Octopus.
favorite.
But Green Goblin is Bruce Wayne and Joker in one though.
That's true.
Well,
That's what I love about him. He is the perfect amalgam of those two characters together. He's got all the Wayne tech, and he's fucking psycho. I love that.
That's true.
But
If y'all never thought of it that way,
No,
I thought
that's
that was
clever.
the whole. To be honest, I actually thought
he's reverse Batman.
that's what I thought. I actually thought that. Well, I always had this theory that I thought Green Goblin was like Marvel's way of going, I want a character who's kind of like the Joker, kind of like Batman. Let's just fucking make this guy. I always thought that about Green Goblin.
You can kind of see it in the character design too.
100%.
The green and purple,
100%.
the smile, yeah.
The pumpkin bombs, the batarangs, the fucking green face, the green hair.
Yeah,
they've kind of steered away from having the bigger villains in these. They did Vulture, and they did Shocker, and they've done Mysterio, which is great. We are probably going to be getting Norman Osborn soon.
Yeah, so I heard a rumor that he was going to buy the Avengers Tower, the old one. They were going
Turn
to have
into
Oscorp
Oscorp?
on the fucking
Well,
side
they did.
of that one.
He was it Harry? Was it Harry or was it Norman who created the Dark Avengers?
I think it was Harry.
Yeah. I mean, hey, who knows?
How about surprise cameo at the end? The movie takes you on this ride. You disappear for 2 hours. You're having a great time. By the end of it, you're cheering. Credits hit, and then all of a sudden the movie starts going again. And who happens to pop up in the movie?
J.K.
You
Simmons.
called it.
Yeah,
J.
J.
Jonah motherfucking Jameson.
Jonah Jameson. And he'd always said he still wanted to play the character. And I never thought in a million years they would let him actually...
He's great.
is James
Yeah,
Jonah
he
Jameson.
embodies
though.
that motherfucking
What
character.
do you
He's
think
a
about
character,
Let him
100%.
keep his haircut though, man. That is Jonah Jameson.
That was nuts.
Mhm.
And then...
He killed it though.
Did you
Yeah.
say he's like, it was great to make him Alex Jones?
Yeah, he was like Alex
He
Jones.
was like Alex Jones. That was awesome to take the Daily Bugle because at first, when he took the picture and he swung by, I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's going to be the photographer like he, is in the original comic. But then to play with your expectations and actually have J. Jonah Jameson show up, I was like, are you kidding me? That's insane. Why would they okay that too? You know what I mean? Like, why would they let him come back? You feel like that was the right choice?
Well, I mean, they just
That
needed
was their only
some.
choice.
They needed some sort of that crazy piercing voice and personality to fill that role and play that character.
Dude, he is that.
Did any of y'all ever play like the Spider-Man PS4 game that came out not too long
I
ago?
wish I did.
I had-
Throughout the whole game, it's more mature, future
Yeah.
Spider-Man, but Jameson retired from the Bugle, but he has his own podcast that you hear these snippets of it throughout the whole fucking
Talking
game.
shit about
He
Spider-Man.
comments on every
Yeah.
fucking thing you do, and it's kind of that same thing. He just has that obnoxious, piercing personality and voice, and there's only so many people on this planet that can nail that role.
Right.
Do we feel that the third act was comparable, as big as it could be? I felt like it was damn good. Because I feel like these movies always fall into the third act and suffer because they always have to one-up each other, one-up each other, one-up each other. I felt like this one was big, but it was small at the same time. And so it really worked. Especially with the way he had to get to him. All those drones, I was like, he's never getting to him. He's never getting to Mysterio.
Right.
And whenever he found a way, he used the brain, and he jettisoned up in there. I was like, that's so fucking cool.
Him regaining his spider sense, or his Peter Tingle.
That was
as they
such a
called
great
it in
scene.
the- yeah.
Maybe I missed this through the movie. When did he lose it?
At the beginning, whenever she threw the banana at his face. And also, I think the blip kind of fucked with him a little bit also.
But that
It
was,
just kinda-
but that banana, that was a plot device that
Yeah.
was triggering.
For
It's
sure.
just like, was it
It's a MacGuffin.
was it the Wolverine when he lost his like healing factor?
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's just like, oh, she hit him with a banana. That's funny. No, that's like the movie.
It's part of the hero's journey. Like,
Yeah.
can you still be that hero
Like the
without
second
the
one,
one
Ethan
thing
was
that
saying about
helps
how he
you
didn't
out?
have enough
That's
time
why,
to grieve.
even though I love Mysterio, I don't think he's more than a one shot. Because I mean, I think in
I
a
think
Mar-
you're right.
in an
It shouldn't
MCU,
be. They're
Yeah.
gearing up to make the fucking Sinister Six. They're gonna have their own. I feel like they're gonna make it like its own level fucking end game.
I mean,
where
they
you
already got
these
like 5 of them already. The MCU.
that possible.
And
Possible.
Ralphie could come back as
But
Mysterio.
at least there's 2 at the end of Homecoming. We got Vulture and fucking what's his face? Who goes
Scorpion, Matt Gardner.
Exactly.
And Dimitri was Chameleon.
Yes.
Scorpion B.
So do we get Doc Ock and Norman Osborn in like the later iterations, or are they going to go somewhere else?
round
Like,
it'd be a
we're
crime.
gonna
It'd
get
be a crime
Kraven?
not to have at least one of those two, man.
Kraven. I want to see Kraven the Hunter in there also.
Oh, Craven for sure,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
Love Craven.
Well, let's talk about what Javi was going to say.
Well, this is just, like tag on to what Ethan was saying about how he needed more time to grieve. Like in this movie, you actually see that he's just a kid, like the awkward kiss and all that shit. I really wish they would have tackled more like, holy shit, I'm fucking 16 years old and I literally came back from the dead. They should have explored more of that. Like
Well, they didn't realize that they were dead, though. They made that clear. Like,
I know,
to
but
them, it
it's-
was no time passed.
Wouldn't you feel weird knowing that you disappeared for 5 years?
Yeah.
I feel like it's in there, dude. I
think
feel like there's
just-
a lot of subtext that's
The-
going on in his acting that plays into all of that. And when you watch it, you can see the pain. He's going, and he goes, I just need a break.
He's
I
already
just need a break.
also he's also experienced loss with Uncle Ben.
Absolutely.
You know, so tragedy doesn't hit you the same once you've already suffered something like super traumatic like that. You learn how to process things differently, I think. I mean, I've lost people that were close to me, but then I've lost people that were close to me later on down the line, and I didn't process it the same way that I did the first time that I lost somebody that was truly close to me.
Absolutely. And I think he's done looking for a surrogate father at this point. I think he's going to become the father.
Right.
He's going to become the leader of the people, and he's going to become what he needs to be because he didn't want to grow up. That's all it was. He goes, I don't want to take this responsibility on. I want to continue to be.
I just didn't think I was going to have to save the world again this summer.
Yeah, exactly.
The end of that fucking movie, though, the end of the second credit scene, that is going to make him fucking grow up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. Once again, like I said, it parallels Iron Man 1, but in an inverse where it's not a positive.
Right.
It was
Where-
forced.
Where Mysterio sets it up to look like he was murdered. And
Right.
that Spider-Man now has all this power, and he will use it against everyone.
Even J. Jonah Jameson called Mysterio the greatest superhero ever to live.
I love it.
Yeah.
Once again, love it.
Ultimate plug.
Yeah.
So how's that going to play out in the future? Is Spider-Man going to be the Menace? Spider-Man, the Menace. God, it is Alex.
He's going to be like pretty much on the run.
Spider-Man.
maybe the next
Yeah,
week.
they'll make him the running man.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah, the butcher of fucking
Yeah, the butcher of Bakersfield.
But even on top of that, telling everyone his real identity.
Yeah.
He says Peter Parker.
And
Yeah,
they
that's-
show the fucking picture, too.
And the
Yeah.
callback to the first movie, Homecoming, where she goes, "What the cut?"
Click.
Yeah. How's that going to play out in the Marvel Cinematic?
Well, you know, they did that. That's a direct callback to Civil War,
Yeah.
the actual Civil War comics. He actually unveils himself. It's a turning point in the whole series.
Right.
But in this regard, they've let it happen way, way, way after Civil War, after Endgame. And that's one thing I do kind of like about the MCU is that they take our stories that we love. They don't like destroy them, but they have their own imagining of them.
Integrate.
Yeah.
They
Rearrange
integrate,
them a bit.
yeah,
One way.
certain.
Do you actually see if they call Mysterio a hero? Is there a version of Spider-Man where the Sinister Six are all heroes, and they try to make Spider-Man the villain? And so people are cheering them on as they go after him?
That could be a fallout from
I
that
think
movie.
there's actually an
so.
arc like that, actually. It's like a Suicide Squad type deal.
That might be like a what if scenario.
Maybe
I
that.
mean, Endgame was a whole one.
Yeah,
that whole
a
entire
bunch
movie
of
was
them.
one.
Yeah.
Do we get what they're talking about? There's been rumors of Venom coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Do you guys want to see that going up against this version of Spider-Man?
I
No,
don't
because
think
that
that'll
version
happen.
of Venom is an anti-hero.
Well, because it did so well, Sony still owns all this fucking property.
Absolutely.
So that's why they threw in J. Jonah
This
Jameson.
is the
so
last of the
if,
contracted movies.
if anything, Tom Holland is going over to Sony. to be in their fucking
They would
Spider-Man.
be
Yeah, well, these-
stupid not to cash in on these characters again. Though.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. This is the whole deal. Y'all know the deal they made with Sony?
It was a 5-movie deal, which moved to 6.
So of those movies, Homecoming and Far From Home, Disney doesn't see $1.
Not a single dollar.
But they get to keep. But the one thing they get to keep is all the merchandise rights to
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man, like I think they said, I think it was in 2017. Spider-Man sold $1.6 billion worth of merchandise, which is more than like Batman,
Absolutely.
X-Men, Superman
Kids
combined.
love
That's half of what In-Game made the fucking box
Pretty
office.
much, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a great deal for them. They own Marvel outright. On top of that, they did the same thing with Fox. They own the merchandising rights, but they, for some reason, decided to kill both the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to the point where they re-released old art and deleted them out of it. That's how far they went. Notice that puzzle over there doesn't have a single X-Man or Fantastic Four character on there. And there's a reason because of that. They were pushing. That right there, the only one character you'll see on there otherwise is Spider-Man. See what I'm saying? They played dirty with Fox.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, like we want our fucking property back.
Absolutely. How about a movie where we're talking about the multiverse? There's been talk recently of a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland version of Into the Multiverse, Into the Spider-Verse.
Make it happen.
How would you guys feel about
It'd
that?
be amazing.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Hobby?
I love it.
Yep.
Done and done? You
Done
buy
and done.
it at this point? Alright, so we really enjoyed this movie, I feel like. Any final thoughts on this movie, Hobby?
That last post-credit scene, what the fuck? Just what the fuck?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, the Skrulls.
Okay, so they were using scrolls.
Yeah, they even brought back Ben Mendo for that.
me and him kind of talked a little bit about that, and I don't know. I thought something like maybe Secret Wars, or and you said what was it, the Kree versus Skrull?
There
Kree
wasn't
Skrull-
There was a
Kree
mention
Skrull.
of Kree
Kree Skrulls.
themselves.
Yeah, because he said, he goes, how do you know about the Krees doing that or when they're walking in?
Sleeper cells.
But that was the Skrulls talking.
Right, and then also whenever he mentioned Captain Marvel, he said, "Don't invoke her name."
Don't invoke her name. Why did he
Don't
say
invoke her
that?
name.
And what did I say to you? Skrulls. Did
Yeah,
I not call
you
that
did.
from across Hobby? I was like, Hobby! Ooh, Skrulls.
Yeah.
And I'll put it this way, man. Like, if I didn't trust Mysterio, there ain't no way on this planet. I don't care what Captain Marvel told us to do. I don't trust Skrulls as far as I could spit a whale. Like, it's just
I
they're-
agree with you.
Yeah,
I think-
they
I said
they
20
got
years
something.
is a long time for somebody to go,
Fuck this.
fuck this situation. So I don't
Yeah.
So I
think
think-
those nice Skrulls that you saw in Captain Marvel are
Like I was
you were
telling,
already in positions of power.
I was telling Jake in the truck, 20 years is a long time. There's probably like a sect of skulls that are just like, let's just fucking take shit over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can't be themselves on the planet.
And you tell
You
me
know,
you
they
don't-
have to shapeshift and turn into look like humans. They can't
Yeah.
look like themselves.
Yeah, I can't be me.
Exactly.
I can't be me.
Right.
I want to see a Super Skrull, though. I really do.
Yes.
I think that's awesome.
So that really
But-
might be the big fallout then from Captain Marvel. Is there, it happened way back when. It's building up towards that sort
Right.
of secret.
But
there's no Fantastic Four. There can't be any Super Skrull.
they're clearly.
Or Secret Wars.
You're right, but they're going to re-release it. But clearly, Nick Fury is working with the Skrulls still. So I mean, he was on that fucking ship with them, and he
Did
knew
he
that they were
almost look like-
pretending to be him.
Is he retired? Is that what that was in?
Well, he's like he's
on,
over
like,
100
vacation.
years old.
He is.
He's ridiculously old.
Yeah. He's
He's got the same
He's the
similar
new
stuff
age
that
one.
Captain America does. Like he ages slowly.
Yeah.
Nick Fury does?
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
they, but
Nick
they
Fury's,
don't.
like,
They
well
don't
over
touch
100
on
years
that
old.
in the fucking.
I know. I'm just.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
but
be
yeah,
surprised
that-
if they said it. You know.
Yeah.
Now that ship, it did remind me of Captain Marvel. Now I was thinking like Alpha Flight, and then I was like, oh wait, the Eternals are coming down the pike next year.
Alpha Flight. Would
They
be
said
amazing.
but they said they're gearing up to take it to the Eternals. That's why you got the fucking Adam Warlock teaser. You got the As Guardians of the Galaxy's coming soon. Fucking,
Oh, man.
yeah.
That'll be fantastic.
When things go cosmic.
Jake, final thoughts on this movie. What'd you think?
Go watch it. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I really dug it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go see it again.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Jake.
It's a great little palate cleanser after Endgame. It's not too dark, not too moody. Gives you a good roller coaster. It's very satisfying, for sure.
Ethan.
Man, it's fantastic. It's amazing. But what I liked about it was it opens up to this whole new possibilities of what could go on in the MCU. There's no telling where the fuck they're going to take this now.
Yeah, definitely. Go check it out. I think we're all on the board saying that this is a good one.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you guys for being our guests today. Appreciate it. And definitely check us out on the internet. Share this with your friends if you enjoyed the podcast today. Go to our YouTube channel, QuackAttack 5000. Check out some of the videos we put together. Check out Jake's podcast with Dan Danzy. What is the name of that again?
The Crowd's Fault. It's a podcast for people who don't have time to listen to podcasts.
And check out Jay.
The Ego Phoenix?
Yeah.
Fearcast? Yeah, I'll be back out in October.
Thank you so much for listening. Anything else? Go see Spider-Man.
Yeah, go see it.
See it now!
Stop staring at me, Jack.
And there it is. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you have enjoyed it, please do not forget, share with your friends. That is how we grow the network. And if this is your first time listening, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcast here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Bagu, a video game podcast featuring me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood. That's where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. Don't forget, Heroes Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were sitting down, we're playing some D&D, we're having so much fun. You can go and start that from the beginning of the journey, Season 1, Episode 1. You're going to love it all the way through. And finally, I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I'm going to sit down with some of the most epic people I've ever met in this world, and we're going to talk about their life, we're going to talk about their trials and tribulations, and we're just going to talk about their journey this far. Head on over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. Also, head over to the Facebook group, We Are Error. We would love to see you in that group. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, share it with your friends. That's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, do not forget, support local comedy in any way that you can. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.